So I want to solve for a. I want to get this letter by itself. So for this rational equation, I'm going to multiply to start with both sides by a squared. Once I do that, these disappear, leaving you a squared x equals 25b to the fourth. Next step, I still want to get a squared by itself, so I now have to get rid of this x. So to get rid of the x, to get a squared by itself, I want to divide by x. So those disappear, leaving you a squared equals 25b to the fourth over x. Now, I got to get rid of that squared. To get rid of a squared, don't you square root both sides? So I'm going to square root both sides. That gives me a equals, don't forget the plus or minus, positive, negative, square root of 25b to the fourth over x. So that right there is an answer. This is perfectly fine answer, but it's not simplified. So if you're looking at a multiple choice test and that's there, you're done. If it just says do this and it doesn't mention simplifying, you're good. But in a multiple choice test, if that answer has been simplified, there's a lot of steps we can take. So here's where it gets a little ugly cleaning it up, if that's the case. So let's clean up this answer. So to clean it up, we have a equals positive or negative. I'm going to break the square root up into two separate square roots to start with. So I'm going to do that to start with. Then we have to think back to our properties here, and we have to realize, well, I can break this top as the square root of 25 and the square root of b to the fourth. Oh, so I can do that as the square root of 25 times the square root of b to the fourth. Okay. Well, isn't that 5? And if you remember, isn't that b squared? Oh, I keep breaking this down. It keeps changing into different stuff. So I have a equals positive negative 5 b squared over the square root of 8, x. So you might say, oh, I'm good, I'm done. You are, but there's also a stipulation on simplification where some people don't like to have square roots in the denominator. So this could be done, but there is a case where you might not want the square root in the denominator. So to get rid of this, another step you can take is to multiply top and bottom by the square root of x. So we now have a equals positive negative 5b squared square root of x, and the square root of x times the square root of x is simply x. And that is about as simplified as you're probably going to get. That is a possible configuration, but couldn't we still, again, use that one? Perfectly fine. But it just depends on how the answer is written.